Great to have you here. We had a few technical glitches, but we're on live on YouTube and Twitter for the time being. And we have a very, very special guest. Magid is here with us. He is a certified financial planner, financial advisor, and helping many other people achieve their financial goals. So, welcome, Magid, and happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you, Sandu. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, tell our, maybe give us a brief introduction about you. Tell us more about what you're all about. What do you do? How are you helping people?
What do you want, the professional or the personal first? No,
Both.
okay.
Whatever you feel like going for first.
I professionally, I call myself a certified financial planner, and I don't do multiple different things. I don't sell multiple things. I am a financial advisor. I do insurance and mutual funds and financial planning. That's all I do. And I've been doing it for about 20 years. So basically, if you ask me what do I do for a living, well, I help people create wealth. Whether you're a business owner or your family or an individual, my role in a relationship with you is to help you build your wealth and keep it and pass it on. That's my job. And I'm going to do multiple things with you that will help you to do that. Personally, I'm a dad. I've got 3 kids. My youngest is starting university this year, so I've got lots of bills to pay. I am divorced, and so financially things are a little bit different than I would have planned. But I mean, you roll with the punches, right? I love spending time with my kids because they do not live with me, but I will spend as much time every week as I can with them. I hang out with my buddies. I've had some very long time friends from university. We're still friends to this day. We hang out regularly. Um, I love riding my bike. I like to read. I love watching movies, and I like playing video games. I say that at the end, but I like playing video games. So there, I said it. It's very good for
That's
video games are very good for stress relief. I remember reading an article in the early 90s about how video games, although they do create a different type of stress, but it's actually a healthy stress and it's good for you to stress. And so I was convinced that that's the way to go. So I've just been playing video games ever since. But I'm not a gamer. I don't have a big laptop console. I don't have a fancy chair. I don't have any of that. I'm
that's
not.
brilliant.
not
What's a video game you're playing right now?
what's that?
What's your favorite video game that you're playing right now?
Most of the games I play are on my phone, and I like shooting games. I did spend a little time in the military when I was younger as a reservist, so I like shooting games, and I like playing golf online. It's better than my real golf game, much better.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I'm just curious. You told me that you were working at a large corporation earlier, and then you branched out to being a financial planner and advisor on your own. So, what was that event that triggered for you to get on your entrepreneurial journey? What and then how was it initially?
Well, you know, as you tell all the younger people, you do get older eventually. So, I mean, I've been working for 30, this is my 35th year working since university. So I'm not as young as I look. Um, I'm a little bit older than that. But listen, I was fortunate. I got kicked in the teeth early on out of school. I never there was a business I really wanted to get into, and it never happened. And to be honest with you, that kind of threw me off for quite a long time. I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but like that, I wanted to get into the lawn spray business. And back then in Mississauga, this is like 1988. Back then in Mississauga, there wasn't a lot of lawn spraying companies, and it was a good opportunity. But I lost my financial backer, and so I really didn't know what to do. It took me like weeks and weeks and weeks, and then finally I said, okay, well, I have an economics degree. I'll go work in the bank, and I'll start there, and I'll see where it goes. So I did banking, and I did it for 6 years, and it really wasn't me. And then I jumped around to a contracting job for 1.5 years, and then I got into HR, and I found out I liked HR. I was good at it. It was methodical. It was mathematical. It was process driven. But what I found over those years, um, it was tough to keep a full time job. I was doing more contracts than full time work. And I just got to the point where eventually I was just like, you know what? I don't like this corporate workplace. It's not an environment where I thrive. I'm like a dog on a leash. I don't like to be on the leash. I'm intuitive, I'm motivated, I'm self-motivated, I'm self-directed, I can self-manage well. And I just found that it was worth it for me to take the risk of not being able to find full-time work and having to work so many contracts in HR. It was better for me to go and do what I really want to do was to get back into financial services, but more on the insurance and the investment side. And given my HR years in pensions and benefits, I had a lot of experience understanding that kind of stuff. So it was a good segue for me to jump into getting into financial services. I got my CFP a few years after I had started off. So um, that was really the life event was long, to be honest with you, Sandu. It wasn't like I just woke up one morning and said, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore." I worked for so many years trying to find where I fit, and I figured out exactly where I fit, but it took me it took me a few years to get there, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually not too long. For many people, they many times don't figure it out,
I was 39.
even and the life passes them by.
Well, I was 39 years old when I jumped in finally into financial services. So, I mean, that was almost half my career just jumping around doing different contracts and different types of work. Um, but I would say I failed forward. I took all of that skill set, I took all of that knowledge, all of that experience, and it just makes me successful at what I do today.
Wow, so at 39 you started your
Yeah.
journey. Um,
Yeah. Well, 39
what were the first
called
like
my second career. I started my second career at 39. Let's just put it to you that way.
so then what were the first few years like? Because usually when people start out on their own, it's not that
It
easy.
sucked. It sucked. It was horrible. Um, I loved being able to sit in front of people, but you've got to find people to sit in front of. And so you you really need to get up in the morning and say, "Hey, I've got to meet new people today. And how am I going to do that?" Now, luckily, being at Sun Life, because of my HR background, because I spent some time doing employee education, somehow I got identified as a natural fit to do corporate education as a financial advisor with Sun Life. So that now gave me an opportunity early on in my career um, to be able to stand in front of people in a corporate setting, and these are they would have been Sun Life corporate pension or corporate benefit clients, and I was able to do education sessions with these people, and then repeated exposure to the same companies over and over again. Eventually, people get to know you, and one day somebody will come up and say, "Hey, I have a question about this, or I have a question about that, or will you review this with me?" And so that portion of my time at Sun Life really helped me build my business. The other aspect that helped me to really get over that hump of the first couple of years was that because I was so knowledgeable about investments and the old insurance products that, well, we call them legacy products now, but these are old policies that would have been sold back then. We're going back 2004. So these are policies that would have been enforced from the 1970s and the 1980s. I had a working knowledge of these types of insurance products. And so I was able to partner with some of the older advisors, some of the more senior advisors, and work with them and their clients. And so again, that gave me activity to do every day and opportunity to find people to work with. So I was lucky in the sense that I was knowledgeable, and the management team at the branch was able to recognize that and give me the opportunity to work in these different areas. Um, but for people that don't have natural networks, do not have large families, do not have large friend networks, and that kind of thing, or centers of influence, people who would promote them, it's a tough haul. But I'll tell you what, if you're motivated to do it, you'll do it. At SafeBridge, we have a 19-year-old who, well, he'll be 20 this year. He finished high school in 2021, and didn't want to go to college because he doesn't know what he wants to study. So he didn't want to waste money just hanging out in college. And so late last year, one of our mortgage brokers, who was a friend of his father, said, "Hey, listen, why don't you come and work with me a little bit, get your feet wet in being a mortgage broker?" And I'll tell you what, that kid's hot. He's got lots of opportunity. Working with the older advisor, he is very motivated, very organized. He talks to me regularly about insurance opportunities for his clients and stuff like that. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, this kid's going to be successful in his early 20s doing this kind of work. I've gotten to the point now where I've been telling him, listen, man, like, you do need to get some formal education. Like, at some point in time, go get something, some piece of paper you can hang on the wall. But if you're good at this now, keep at it. Keep it. This kid will be good. He's going to be quite successful doing what he's doing.
That's brilliant, actually.
Yeah, it,
Um,
it is. The fact that he didn't want to waste his parents' money to go to college and get something that was going to be useful to him. I think that shows foresight on his part. But I'm hoping he will get somewhere and get an education of sorts at some point in time.
yes, and when he gets it, he probably will pay for it himself.
Well, I mean, whether it's useful to him at that point, I mean, I've always wanted to get an MBA, but if I went back to school now to get an MBA, it would be useless to me, right? Like, I'm in my career. An MBA, sure, would be helpful talking to business owners and stuff, but it's not going to be of any value to me at my age. Maybe 30 years ago would have been helpful, but like now it's not. So for him, I just want him to get some kind of relative education to put at least a piece of paper on the wall, give him a broader sense of information and potential skill set that will only help him to be a better mortgage broker, right?
Definitely. And what I wanted to ask is, what is it that you like the most about what you do? Why? What was it about financial planning and helping people with their finances, investments, insurance, mutual funds? What is it that you like that made you choose this field over everything else?
I Although I'm very good with detail, I'm a big picture person. And as something I think people should, I kind of try to identify them with, try to identify in themselves early on is, what is your actual skill set? I'm a big picture person, but I have that added ability to be able to work through the details and not get bored with it. So I think when I look at that skill set, that really puts me in a good place as a financial planner, because I have to identify problems for people. I have to be able to look at, a very, in some cases, a very complex financial situation, whether they're, business owners and they have corporate finances and they have their personal finances, or they're, high net worth clients like we manage at SafeBridge. Um, I need to be able to know the details of the client, but also see the big picture for them. Because as the financial planner, I'm really like a quarterback. I need to call the play, and I need to be able to get the clients organized for that play. Now you can say, okay, ultimately the touchdown will be, XYZ. They're going to retire at a certain level, or they're going to be able to do a whole bunch of stuff throughout their working years. But in order for me to do what I do well, I need to see the big picture and work with them on their details. I like working with people. I hate sitting in I hate video calls, by the way. I would much rather sit with you in person and do this. But I mean, I understand we have to videotape it. And that's probably one of the things I hated the most about COVID and 2 years of almost 2 years of literal imprisonment, it really took its toll on me emotionally, because although I'm an introvert, I mean, I like to be with people for periods of time. And so what I like the most about my job is the fact that I get to sit with people, go to their homes, and or meet them in coffee shops and restaurants, and have drinks with them, or have coffee, have food, and be able to relate with people on an informal basis. And that's why my clients like me, because I don't make them have to come to my office every single day. I'm flexible enough to meet with them during the day when it's convenient, and I'm happy to go and get them a coffee, or buy them lunch and sit down with them and review things or talk about new opportunities, whatever the case is. Um, and I think that's one of the biggest things about my job that I like, is I get to work with people every day. The same people. I get to meet new people, um, and it's just ongoing, year in, year out, and I love it. I'm not stuck in an office staring at a computer all day. That would kill me. Literally, would kill me if I had to do that as a career.
Well, that's brilliant, actually. I love that answer. And I'm just curious, there'll be some people in our audience who are, say, stuck in a job that they don't like, or they're doing something that they don't like, but they are scared of taking the jump to do. What's the message you have for something like someone like that?
See, you're okay. That question's killing me, because I like to read, but I read so much during the day at work that for me to pick up a book, I mean, if I turn my camera on, you can see all the books on my bookshelf, and there's a number of them that I haven't even read yet. But what I find is by the time I get home, I'm just too tired to pick up a book and read. So I downloaded this app on my phone called Headway, which basically gives you access to all of, I mean, there's just hundreds and hundreds of books to read, but in different genres. So you want to read about leadership, you want to read about people skills, all that kind of stuff. All those books are there, but the beauty of Headway is that it's an executive summary of the book. Okay. So I'm telling you this to tell you that I just read a book, something about an artist. I cannot remember the name, and I'm not going to play around with my phone right now to get you the name of the book, but I'll give it to you after, and you can put it on your site somewhere. There's a book, something about being an artist. So the book really focuses on the fact that, if you really want to, if you really are passionate about something, but you don't have necessarily the financial means, or you don't have the time, you can't give up the time to invest in this passion, then you need to be able to find the balance where you're working your career or whatever job you're in for now, so that you're earning an income, paying your bills, doing all those kinds of things, but at the same time allowing yourself the time to build that career or that thing that you're passionate about. And the key in the equation is getting to the point where you are now sometime in the future able to transition from your job. I won't even call it a career at that point, because the career is what you're passionate about. But you need to transition from that job to now that thing that you are really passionate about. In this case, it's talking about art, whether you're a musician or a painter or whatever the case is. Okay, so I just finished reading this book on Headway about it, and it did kind of inspire me. I felt kind of good about myself, because I said, you know what, I really wanted to get into financial planning. I knew it was going to be hard. The transition was going to be hard. I thank God every day for these little things that he kind of just tossed at me throughout the years to kind of give me that little bridge to go on the next day or the next week, or here's an opportunity that put a nice big paycheck in front of me that would carry us through for a few months. So I'll get you the name of that book, but you should find this book, read on
I
that.
think you're talking about Steal Like an Artist.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, great book. Read it. I read the executive summary, and I really liked it. So I would say read that book. Anyway, uh,
And some wanted to mention to our audience that before I forget, I think this is crucial, is if anybody wants to reach out to Magid, you can reach out to him on his his Facebook and his LinkedIn page. So this is his Facebook page. As you can see, he's with SafeBridge Financial Group, and this is his LinkedIn. LinkedIn is obviously more towards the professional side. Make sure feel free to reach out to him, and he can definitely add a lot of value to you.
I'll try anyway.
Great. Thank you so much. Any thoughts you would like to leave with maybe people who are watching?
Okay, this is here's the ongoing this is the ongoing theme, the ongoing topic that I keep on having with people. And I think as a young adult, the sooner, and we talked about this the last time we chatted, Marshall. The
Yes.
sooner the sooner you can find your joy and your contentment. I'm not talking about chemically induced happiness here. Okay, I'm talking about, you wake up in the morning and you're joyful. You wake up in the morning and you are content. I think the problem in our world is that we are so inundated with marketing. It just bombards us. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever. This, better this, bigger that, shinier this. What, like, there is no way for you as a consumer in this world to take a breath and escape this ongoing, unnecessary, almost intrusive bombardment that we face from the marketing industry as it pushes whatever crap on you. Okay. The worst thing you can do to yourself in life is live a life where you are striving and where you lack contentment. You've got to find early in your life that lifestyle that makes you happy, that is affordable early on. Because when I sit down with people and do planning, we're going to dot every I, we're going to cross every T, and we look at the basics first. And the basics is food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and savings. So whatever you have left over after that, that's the stuff that you can focus on to make yourself happy. So I mean, my parting words are basically, in life early on, find the joy in your life and keep it. And I'm telling you, if you live a joyful life, if you are content and you find that level of life that makes you content early on and you carry that contentment on, I mean, the benefits are exponential. We're not talking financially. We're talking emotionally, physiologically, relationally. I bet you we'd have less divorce if people were joyful and more content. And I mean, and I'm a divorced guy. Okay. So, uh, and I speak with a lot of people who are divorced, and you can hear it in their voices. You can see it in their faces. The lack of joy. I'm telling you, people find joy and contentment. I'm not going to define it for you. I'm happy to have the conversation with someone who wants to have it with me later on. But find joy, find contentment early on in life, and everything falls into place. That I could seriously promise you. Of all the things in the world, I can guarantee you: find joy, find contentment, and life will go on smoothly for you. That's it, man.
Wow, that is an amazing concluding message. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us
Hey, my
today.
pleasure.
And
My pleasure.
yeah, we'll be looking forward to reconnecting very soon.
I will reconnect as well with you, my friend. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you.